Hello, students. My name is Hilda Burgos, and I am the author of several books, including the Bodega Cats chapter book series. Each of these books is about a different bodega owner's kid and their newly adopted cat. In today's craft video, I will be talking about how writers tell a story through an animal narrator. But before we get started, let's define some key terms. First, narrator. The narrator is the one who tells the story of the events in a book. A first-person narrator is also a character in the book, so they use words like I and me while they're telling the story. Point of view is how the narrator sees the world and the events of the story. And voice means the words and expressions the writer chooses to use in order to show the narrator's personality and point of view. Now, one tip for writing from the point of view of an animal narrator is to learn as much as possible about the animal you're writing about. When I wrote my Bodega Cats books, I observed many cats, both in person and through videos. I also read about them so that I could learn as much as possible about cat behaviors. However, just as people are different from one another, all cats are not exactly alike. So after I learned about cats in general, I then created three very different cats for the three different books in the series. Each cat has their own unique personality, they have different likes and dislikes, and they have different goals that they want to achieve in their stories. Let me show you an example from the first book, which is about a cat named Lolo. The book starts like this. I dig my claws across my belly, behind my neck, under my chin, but the itching won't stop. My breath clouds the air as I shiver and weave through the park, sniffing for greasy bags or scraps of food a human child might have dropped. But today, there are no bags, no food, not even a shoe print. I slide into a cozy ditch behind a puffy bush to warm up. I'll hunker down here for the night and try to ignore my growling tummy. Maybe tomorrow I'll snag some food. Now, in what ways does this scene show you that this is an animal and not a person? Well, first, Lolo is itchy because he has fleas. And during my research, I learned that many stray cats have fleas. Also, he's sniffing for food, which is not human behavior, but it is very common for cats because they have a very keen sense of smell. And that is something else I learned through my research. Finally, Lolo talks about a human child, and obviously a person wouldn't speak that way. They would just say a child. But also, what specific things do you learn about the individual cat Lolo and his environment? Well, we know that he lives outside, and we know that it's very cold outside because his breath clouds the air and he shivers. And finally, we also learn that he's very hungry. So let's compare Lolo's narration to Candy's, who is the cat in the second book. Candy's a kitten, and in this scene, she has just been adopted and she's seeing her new home for the first time. Hooray, now I'll see the world. I zip past Yesenia and her mommy and leap up to a springy scratching post. My sofa, Mommy yells. Don't scratch that up. She reaches for me, but I'm still exploring this great new place. I reach for a swishy climbing wall, but uh-oh, even though I hold on tight, I slide all the way down. Dios mío, now this cat's clawing the curtains, Mommy shouts. I drop onto a slippery table and bump against some stuff that's in my way. Splish, shatter. Ay, 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 the good vase, Mommy slaps her forehead. Careful with the picture frames, Yesenia gasps. Crash. Candy, no, Bouncy giggles as she chases after me. This is fun. So in what ways is Candy similar to Lolo? Well, she's obviously also a cat because she thinks the sofa is a scratching post and the curtains are a swishy climbing wall. And also, as Mommy points out, Candy is accidentally scratching everything up with her cat claws. But Candy is also very different from Lolo, and you can tell that from her voice. She's an active and playful kitten, and unlike Lolo, she hasn't lived outside or experienced hunger. So the two of them have very different desires and personalities. Now it's your turn to do some writing. Pick an animal that you want to have narrate your story. I've listed some examples here, but you can choose any animal you want. Then give your narrator a personality. Are they playful or grumpy? Are they hungry and tired? Or are they full of energy and ready for adventure? Are they sneaky and secretive or open and honest? You decide. Then write a scene narrated by your animal where one of these things happens. You can write about your narrator being surrounded by family and friends. Then they find a treasure, such as a fun toy or a tasty food item. What will they do? How will they feel about this? Or write about your narrator being lost and alone and coming across a stranger who is a different type of animal. How will your narrator react to this? Hit pause here and get to brainstorming. Or save this activity for later and check out the rest of the Latinx Kidlit Book Festival craft series on our YouTube channel. We can't wait to see you at the festival. Happy writing!